Time now to get a take on the news from the left, right, and middle. Joining us now from opposite sides of the fence is author Tom AVITABLE. Tom has 2 books out right now, with another one due later this year. He's a bit of an overachiever. Another overachiever is Pulitzer Prize award-winning, I love to always say that, journalist and author Karen Hunter, who's written several books too, we have to say, because we mentioned Tom.
Finally.
And has one on the shelves right now. Do you feel the competition already?
Well, actually, I've written 20 books, but that's neither
details. That means you got to catch up, Tom.
I'm working on
it.
I'm trying to overachieve.
It's good to see you both. Thank you so much for coming in.
Happy New Year.
We have actually 3 very serious issues to talk about. This first one is tragic in many ways, no matter how you slice it. And this is a 13-year-old California teen, Jahai McMath, who suffered complications after tonsillectomy and now is considered brain dead. Let me just pose the question this way, and Karen, I think I'll start with you, and that is, this is an issue of family rights versus patients' rights versus medical conventional wisdom versus legal precedent. What should prevail here?
Common sense. I know it's emotional, and fortunately, I'm not in that position to make that decision, but brain dead is pretty much brain dead, and we can keep somebody on life support, but is that really a life? And I'm just going to put it out there right now. If I'm ever in that position, please pull the plug, because I do not want to continue to live in a state that's vegetative. And I think that we saw this with Terri Schiavo, and it turned into this national debate about what should be done. But at the end of the day, and Terri Schiavo was clear about what she wanted to have happen, and they didn't listen. And this young lady is a minor. So it's a little bit different, and I understand as a parent you want to preserve life and hope.
Every second. Yeah.
But
and you know what, I want Tom to respond, but you bring up another point that is very important, and that is to express your rights legally, so that if this situation tragically, horribly, God forbid, ever come about, then from the eyes of the law, they do know what your intentions are. Tom, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, living wills aside, it's a family matter first, and it's about a person's own beliefs. When does the life leave the body? When does the soul leave the body? And these people, obviously, like anybody would fight for every second they can. But medically, as we know, when the brain stem is dead, nobody's ever come back from that. The previous, Terri Schiavo case, and even Ariel Sharon, who's been out for 8 years, right?
He's still living, though.
But he's in a comitative state, as opposed to brain dead.
He's in a vegetative state. And you raise a very important distinction here, and that is the difference between Terri Schiavo and Jahai McMath. 100%. Terri Schiavo was in a vegetative state. Her brain was able to keep her heart pumping and her lungs breathing in this.
There's only so long the organs can remain.
It's not here.
Right.
She's not here.
She's gone.
And I'm gonna. I believe in the power of miracles. I really do. But at some point, you have to ask yourself: is this a life? Is this young lady living? Will she ever live again? And living to me is so much more than being able to breathe and eat and go to the bathroom.
But doesn't that child's family, and she's a child, and I think that's also another issue here. We'll talk about this and we'll move on. But doesn't that child's mother and father, though, have the right to decide what happens to her, whatever her state might be?
Yes, they do. But at some point, there's a bed, there's a facility. Somebody else could be taking that facility. Some child in need could be in that bed who has a chance. Now, if brainstem dead is brainstem dead, and 100 out of 100 cases, it's always dead.
If they can pay for it, then they have a right to keep her alive as long as they live.
And that's what it comes down to.
That's true,
that is what it comes down to.
I would spend every dollar I had. But
I mean, if you're in that position, you never know what you would do.
There's no right, left, and middle on this one.
No, there isn't.
No, it's just sorrow and heartbreak.
That's right.
Well, let's turn the corner to something that's much, much lighter, and that is Colorado has gone up in smoke.
I rehearsed this. They've taken that John Denver song to new extremes. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. There's a whole bunch of burnt out guys in the 60s who said, hey, we can do this now. And they're doing it.
Well, here's the question. Are they trailblazers, or have they made a mistake with legalizing recreational?
I think it's great. I think every pothead...
Well, you know what?
That is
a very conservative position.
Well, it's a libertarian position.
It's a libertarian position,
But I think every pothead, every guy that's getting up at noon in his mother's basement should all head to Colorado. Everybody go there now, get off the state rolls, go on to the Colorado rolls, let them have what they want, and get out of the way so the rest of us...
Actually, the lines are very long. There are a lot of flights.
And they're gonna get longer.
The lines are very long.
There are a lot of unproductive guys who live in their mother's basement.
You got that right.
But
hold on, and let's be serious about this, because here's the thing: there's medical documentation about the effects of marijuana, particularly on a developing brain, for young kids, that it is a gateway drug, and its effect on chronic and long-term illnesses. So there's a real element here besides just, you know.
I have never puff passed in my life. I just want to be clear.
And you didn't inhale.
No, I've never even taken a marijuana.
So you could be president.
Yeah. No, actually I couldn't, because the last two have puff and passed. That said, I've always been for the legalization of marijuana, not for marijuana itself and what it's done, because let's be real, alcohol does way more damage than marijuana. And I've never heard of anybody driving while high on marijuana going particularly fast. If anything, they're hungry and they probably will fall asleep and not even get the key in ignition. That said, I think that marijuana has always been an economic thing for me, and to legalize it would empower certain countries, would empower certain nations to have their own economy, which to me is important. And the reason why, if you read a book called The Pale Horse, and you'll find that marijuana legalization is much more about economy and power than it is about the drugs' effect on people. Otherwise, alcohol should be illegal, cigarettes should be illegal.
And it was illegal for a time, and that didn't work out.
It should be, right, and it wouldn't work out with this. But they can't control this. You can grow this in your basement and with a hydroponic
You seem to know a lot from someone who didn't.
I don't smoke, but I'm a businesswoman.
Degree of depth here.
Businesswoman.
Let Colorado be the mecca of the munchies, the carnival of the cannabis, the Disneyland
go
for
down
drug
your
use.
list.
Well, you did practice. Let me.
Yeah, read the rest.
Keep going. No, go ahead. That's terrible.
All right, we'll have to stop right there.
Oh, no. I was ready to bash Congress for the new year. Come on, Debbie. Just
we were both gonna bash
9%.
Congress.
Puff thing. Tom AVITABLE, Karen Hunter, thank you guys.
Happy
New Year to you as well. And thank you everybody for joining us on this new day in the new year. We'll see you tomorrow on Arise America.